So the community gathering taking place on December 21st, because it's the shortest daylight of the year, which means the longest night of the year.
So part of what we're looking at, we're just in the beginning of what's called winter warming, which is when we try to get people off the streets so we can avoid anybody dying out in the cold. So the fact that it's the longest night of the year is significant because it's the longest time anybody would be out on the street, living in their car, staying in back of a store, on the steps of a church. So the 21st is significant for that because of the being winter solstice.
We celebrated it in Vernon this year, and it was a combination of 3 different events.
First, we're going to be looking at dedicating the new nativity scene. We were very lucky that a local builder, the Barnyard, made a beautiful new creche to cover the figures that we had already. So we're going to be dedicating that. We also are going to be doing a remembrance of National Homeless Remembrance Day, which is looking at the number of people who have died throughout the year who were homeless for various reasons. So we'll be doing some things in memory of those folks, some of whom we actually knew here at Cornerstone. The fun part is we'll be doing some caroling. We have a local couple, Gary and Lynn Benavides, who are also volunteers here at Cornerstone, but do the music for the Trinity Lutheran Church, and they'll be doing the carol sing.
The best part of it was that we brought so many people in the community together. There's so many churches in this area that we had probably 6 or 7 of them show up.
Some of the ministers from the local churches will be offering prayers and blessings for the various parts of the event.
We had some of the people from the government. Mike Winkler, who has been a representative at the state level for several terms, was there. In the town of Vernon, David Owens was there, and Michelle Hill and Matt Hellman. Michelle is from the Youth Services Bureau and Matt Hellman from Social Services. And it was just a really good gathering where we brought a lot of people together, and then some people from each of the churches were there. And of course, some of the people that are Cornerstone serving right now were all there. And back years and years ago, there might have been 100 people there. And last night we had a very small group. It's probably less than 50 people, but we think it's going to grow every year. And what was interesting is right after the event, we all went over to Oasis, which is part of Union Church. And we had a reception there, and we want to thank Christine Hawley for that. She prepared all the hot chocolate and the eggnog and the cookies and the snacks, so that worked out really well.
We also anticipate that we'll have some representatives from MAC in Manchester that works with us on sheltering people and helping with food insecurity. And then, we've invited some other people around town who are involved in human service agencies and would have interest in the kind of events that are happening at this event.
At the same time, I also want to thank the people from the Cornerstone that helped us so much. Alexis Carmichael did all the running around beforehand. We also had Ernie Garibaldi, who helped set up the tables. Alexis's family helped. One of the biggest things that happens that night is Tommy Glinsky collects socks starting back in Socktober. The beginning of October, they call it Socktober, and they collected, I'm guessing, well over 1,700 pair of socks and collected some donations. And we had those on display. And some of the people that really needed them took them. Some of the churches took them for their people. People from the town took them to keep in their offices. So it was a really good thing. Here it is, the start of winter. And while it's sad that the days are short, the gleam of hope we get out of this is someday that we can hopefully solve homelessness. Because the next day, the daylight will get a little bit longer for the next 6 months. So it's a really good event, but the most important part is community, because there's so many issues going on in this world right now, but if the community can come together, it makes it a lot easier for all of us to survive and thrive, hopefully. We'd always had the hope and dream of doing the candle lighting ceremony where one person lights a candle and passes it to the next person, and those 2 people pass it to other people and all that. But because it was outdoors and because we wanted to be safe, she came up with some electric candles. And at the right moment, when we're about to memorialize everyone, we started with 1 lit candle, and it was pretty dark, but you could see that light. And there's a famous saying that says, instead of cursing the dark, light a single candle. So one person lit the candle and shared it with two people, and those two people shared it with two more. And in just a few moments, the whole area was lit up with candles. And it was kind of important because each of us, we do have that little light inside of us that can make a difference in this world. There's two groups in the country that put on the homeless prevention. I guess they've been doing it for 20 years, a couple different decades. And what we found out was that in Connecticut, it's done probably like in 5 or 6 locations. And since we're one of the larger shelters now outside of Hartford, Hartford had their own in the city, but we had ours here east of the river for this area. I was also happy to see Tim come. Tim is from the MAC, which stands for the Manchester Area Council of Churches. And what he does is he helps some of the homeless in the Manchester area. So he came with his daughter, and they're a real support for us in the winter. Like this winter, we're helping, we have 40 different beds that we can help people with each night. And when the severe cold weather comes, when the governor enacts that proclamation or declaration of the emergency shelter system, what happens is some hotel rooms become available for the most vulnerable, and Cornerstone helps with that, and MAC does it. And all of us work in the Hartford area together, and it's called the Greater Hartford Coordinated Access Network. And we are the people that came together with the 2-on-1 system, where if anyone needs any service, whether it's, in our case, housing and homelessness, but anything, medical questions, babysitting, or whatever, you call 2-on-1. If it is about housing and homelessness, you call 2-on-1, wait for the prompts, push 3, wait again, and push the 1 prompt, and you will be talking to a housing specialist who can help you. And that's how you access shelters these days. So what was really impressive, the reason we had the dedication of the nativity scene this year was, I know I've been working with it probably 10 or 15 years, and it had been stored first at Union Church in Downtown Rockville, and then the last few years it was stored at St. Bernard Church, which is now Blessed Sacrament Parish. And it was a framework of 2x3s put together in a plywood roof. And for the years I've been involved, every year we talked about, I think it's time to replace it or repair it. And year after year went by. So this year I called the Barnyard in Ellington, and I talked to Chris Skinner, and I told him what we're doing, and I said, like, we'd have to get a price on this because we know it's going to be labor intensive. But he worked up a design, and I asked him the difficult question, so what will it cost us? Because all the churches come together. And I was pleasantly surprised. He said they would like to donate it for our use. So back in the first week in December, they brought it up already completed. They put it into place on the town green, which we call Central Park here in Vernon. And we brought the figurines, and there it is. And we encourage everyone to come see it. We have some beautiful pictures of it. It's right in the center of the town green, right in front of Town Hall, right near Santa's house. So it's kind of exciting. And when I was a little kid in the Rockville area, we saw the one that they had for years, and it's great to be part of this now.
So we really hope that you will come out. We know it's going to be a nice event. It'll be a mixture of happy and sad.
If you need things like socks or warm gloves or something, we'll probably have them for you. Or if you're in a different situation where you can help donate, perhaps you'd want to bring some of those things. We need warm hats, we need gloves. We have a lot of socks, thanks to Tommy and Socktober. But if you want to bring something, some people have donated coats. So if you're going to come and join us tonight, it's at sunset, which is about 4:30. So join us right in front of the town hall. There's plenty of parking nearby.
We know that it'll be a great opportunity to learn a little more about the situation with homeless people in Connecticut, to see our beautiful nativity scene, and to sing some songs that are the things that we love to do this time of year. We are very lucky that at Cornerstone we get a lot of support from the local churches every day of the year.
Cornerstone now is going into our 40th year of existence. It was started by Helen Syriac years ago when she saw the need. A young man who she tried to help was later found murdered, and she wished she could have, should have done more. Instead of complaining about it or commiserating about it, she started Cornerstone with so many other dedicated volunteers. And Helen will be the first to tell you that it's not her, it's the power of God through her, because she's just loyal and faithful to the Lord, and some amazing things have happened. The soup kitchen, now 3 shelters, the clothing bank, the food pantry, the deliveries we do with food. Just so many good things are happening here at Cornerstone. But we know that we can't do it alone. It takes the community support from people like you. And if there's a way you want to help in any way, the volunteers, different donations, we would love for you to help. And that's what we thank all the churches for too, because there's so many crews that come here to support us. And without their help, it wouldn't happen. So thank you to the community.
If you're interested in learning more about Cornerstone and some of the other events that we have, you can go to our website, which is www.cornerstone-cares.org.
And there's a lot of information there, a lot of great pictures there. If you have questions about any of the different departments we have, the ministries that we have here, there's information. There's a volunteer form that if you'd like to volunteer, if you'd like to donate cash or a donation of financial means, there's an online source, there's an address to mail it to. But we just thank you truly for your support. And we hope to see you tonight.